one. I hope we're live. Welcome into the Cafe Nightly Show. I'm going to have somebody let me know if we're up and live the way we're supposed to be. I do know some of these shows have taken a little bit to hit the screen, a little bit to go live, but hoping we're there. There we are. Looks like we're live in the cafe. This is a Goldsmith, the Cafe Nightly Show. It is Tuesday the 21st, 2023, and today in Upland, we did get a few pieces of news. Also trying to make sure I've got everything else here pushing, headed, going the right direction, because I do also have a very special guest coming in later today, or coming right up front, and do want to be able to take a look and have a conversation with them as we get started here tonight. First up, obviously, we'll get into later on the show, the turkey chase kicking off in Upland. This is something that we had last year, coming in just in time for Turkey Day 2023. And of course, this is definitely something that we've seen the last year, and we'll look into the specifics of this turkey chase versus what we've seen in the past. We also have a couple things to go into in terms of what we did see for sales. Obviously, the totem sale. It's another totem sale coming into the game. Chapter 4, another totem sale sell out pretty quickly. And of course, registration is still open for the Snowdrift Showdown. That is something that we do have registration open throughout the week. We are getting close to the end of the Ugliest Sweater Contest, design contest, that is going to end into next week. Still time to get designs in. Time is running short on it, though, so we'll get into making sure everyone is ready and headed in that direction. And then otherwise, most importantly, up front, before we get started, before we get into any other pieces of the daily news, do want to kick off and get started with very special guest and somebody who's been around, or some people who've been around for a little bit, making their tour, being a few different places, but a lot of exciting news with Polemo Games, being able to have a conversation here tonight with a couple of the regulars over at Polemo Games, looking to be able to have that conversation about what is going on today, what's been going on, how did we get here, and where are we going from here. So very excited to get started there. Before we do anything, of course, disclaimer does have to sit up front. All views and opinions expressed by myself, they're mine and mine alone. They do not represent the game or the team of Upland. Should be taken as game strategy or financial advice. Of course, any guests that we do have on Polemo Games tonight, they have their own opinions. They don't represent the game or the team of Upland. They represent myself, the Goldsmith, or the Cafe Nightly Show. And of course, they're entitled to their opinions, but they shouldn't be taken as game strategy or financial advice. Questions and comments throughout the show, because we are in the Upland Layer 1 Cafe. Feel free to drop them in the comments if you would like to do so. If you have anything, you have questions that you want to see answered, if there's anything that you want to jump into for comments, please feel free to do so in the comments. And of course, getting things kicked off here very shortly, or getting things kicked off right up front. We do want to have that conversation, and of course, touching on the news at the end here. So I am going to welcome in Essay, Satoshi, and Sean Mara, all with Polemo Games. And again, Essay, Satoshi, long history in the game of Upland. Sean Mara coming in with Polemo Games, with Polemo X, and coming into the ecosystem. I'm sorry, Sean. I think we're echoing.
Yeah, sorry about that. Something's going on with my computer, so I apologize.
Oh no, a lot of these softwares do that. Yeah. So as you get in the figure, Sean obviously coming into the ecosystem, starting back in Genesis Week 2023, coming in with X. As that project started to come into the game of Upland, and again, all three parties have been around for a bit. We've seen them in a few different places, but of course, looking forward to having a conversation tonight. A little bit different with a couple topics on how did Polemo Games get here? What's going on right now? I've had 4 or 5 days to get into the metaphor. Started and from last week, getting through the weekend, having a couple of days here to get those scores up, and looking forward to seeing what's coming in the next couple of weeks. So, how are you guys all doing?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Doing well, thanks.
Yeah, great to be here. Thank you, Goldsmith.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, look at that echoing sound is all figured out, Sean. I love it.
Man, we're high tech over here. I unplugged it and I plugged it back in just for the record.
Oh, that's awesome. No, we do things like try to stream in this Discord while streaming elsewhere, and then all the mics get messed up, and no, it's not a surprise. It happens all the time. So getting started right up front. Obviously, I'll give you the elevator pitch. I've spent about I guess I can't calculate because then I get myself in trouble by disclosing how many trials I've done in the metaphor. But I've gone through and obviously played a good number of times. Getting those scores up, not being consistent, but getting those scores up over 100 overall score. Tell me a little bit about the experience, about what we're looking at. What is at the table now, and how people can participate for the free to play version.
Yeah, you got it. First of all, I think somebody just posted a score today of over 500.
What? Are they gaming the system or what's that?
They're playing. They're grinding. There's some stiff competition out there for sure.
And that's the final score. That's not the point score, right? Because you have the point score, then you have the final score that's calculated with the timing.
We'll have to confirm with our in-house statistician, S.A. Acero, commented on that post today. What was it? Did I miss it? Was it 500? I might have messed that up.
I mean, I saw 500, but yeah, I have to look again. People are practicing though, that's for sure. I mean, I've seen.
I found it,
guys. 100.
I found it. The final score came out to 47.86, and the score for I guess the individual round was 505.
Jeez, that's
so it's
nuts.
not the total isn't come out to 505, but it's 47.86.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I'll show you guys.
Nice work. Shout out to
forensics.
Yeah, give a big shout out there, Satoshi.
So start me out. Obviously, what is this experience? I know you talked about it a few times, but just give you that quick elevator pitch.
Sure.
A lot of people have been in it. Some people haven't.
You got it. So the Polemo metaphor is really the first mini game of a series of mini games inside the Polemo metaphor, and that metaphor is centered and infused with not only these immersive experiences that are centered around not only those immersive 3D experiences, but the study of polemology, which is the study of combat and war. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, the goal is to have this first experience, which is live now, and people are playing and practicing during this free unlimited free play all week and into the weekend. So definitely get your practice in. And it's the first experience of that greater Polemo metaphor. And we won't spend too much time on the fort. But in that fort is the very first mini game experience. And Polemo Games, as you asked in the intro, is a layer 2 Web3 blockchain game developer and publisher. And this is one of our first releases in Upland. And there'll be a series of additional mini games that all are interoperable and work from this one range experience.
And you said something that just took me off guard, because I've heard this said a couple different ways circularly, but here we are. You said free for this week. What is the plans immediately following, or is the free play still going to be available to some degree once other forms of play are available?
Well, we're going to move into after this first week plus of this is very important too, because it is in beta, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, this is where we're getting tremendous, and we're encouraging all the feedback. We're getting such great feedback in Discord. It's amazing. Zero negativity. So much great feedback, and the loop is just consistent. So our goal is to really refine and define. We're pushing new updates at the end of this week, going into next week, I should say. And it's all coming from community feedback, ways we can make the better, UX, UI. So that's all a big part of this too, is doing it through community feedback versus game dev in a vacuum where it's a bunch of people developing it and then you look and nobody likes it, right? So we really want that feedback in this very early stage. And it will turn into, and that's the exciting part, is when the tournaments go live, that's when you're going to be able to compete for UPICs. And there'll be tournaments on a weekly basis. And you can come in and play daily as much as you like to keep racking up your score to end that final score in a tournament where you'll participate in an UPICs bag.
And is that going to be, that's going to be an entry fee essentially, right? An entry fee and then a reward based on placement. Yeah.
Right. And some of that is out there based on what Upland published already, but there'll be another push of content and the next phase coming up as well. So just stay tuned, keep playing. That's one of the main things I try to tell everybody. Just keep playing.
It's a pre-Thanksgiving gift. Play for free. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, this is something that I have been a big proponent of for a long time. The biggest value of Upland for me has always been that they created this microtransaction currency, a tenth of a penny, so that we could run all of these, mini games, these microtransactions, payments between parties, that are under the equivalent of $1. And it was kind of exciting to see all that happen, but it never realized. We haven't had that really happen. So this is like the first instance that we're starting to see that. And that's going to be the model moving forward. Pricing may vary. The cost to get into certain tournaments may vary over time, but you're looking at that OpEx being the cost to get to entry, right?
Right. And if Essa, you want to chime in on the range or Satoshi, I know you're not feeling too well tonight, but feel free to, expand as Upland players and key architects to this whole experience, man. We'd love to hear you.
Goldsmith, you actually bring up a great point, how tying the UPX currency to various I guess external avenues, and that's something that we want to engrave into our game. So the entry fee we thought was a great idea, but also we want to utilize UPX as a currency as well to trade the assets. So I think that's another big push as well.
Perfect. And that's something you guys we obviously have to do in concert with Upland, which is something that I wanted to circle back to for you, Sean, or for Essay, if you wanted to get into that one of the big important things is, you did a ton of work or X-Polemo did in terms of building a game that looks very AAA. It's a small mini game. It's a small experience, but the graphics, what you're looking at, the interoperability, the way you interact with the weapon, the response, very AAA, very high class. And the question that comes in is, how do you come in as a AAA developer or that level of development and then come in and work with Upland? What has that been like for integration? Has that been pretty seamless? Has that been a learning curve? How's that felt for that interaction between parties?
Yeah, well, AAA is what we want to be when we grow up, but thank you for that. That means the world. Thank you.
I said AAA quality. I know you guys are AAA right now.
Yeah. No, hey, man, just in the fact that it's coming out of your mouth around our project means the world to us, but that is what we aspire to be. But ultimately, to answer your question about the partnership and Upland, they're incredible. I mean, this is what they do. They do it really well. They have an incredible, passionate team from every department, and we've worked at every department, and it's really just been an incredible experience. And as far as when game developers, we're a layer 2 game developer, right? So we're building this layer 2 game in this ecosystem, and we pivoted our entire project and Polemo Games to focus on Upland first for all the obvious reasons. And when we started working with them, that's when it really came out to understand, wow, this is so much more. That's even well before Genesis Week, where everything's happening over Zooms and long email strings and, dev, and you go through processes. But, business is about people and processes. And I know you have a marketing background and people and processes, right? That's what it's about. And they have the people and they have the processes. And then it's about kind of like interoperability. It's like anything that's a challenge when we have our goals and what we want to accomplish. So it takes some time to get those things to dial in, those people and processes. But when they do, it really has been just an incredible learning experience too. And then to top it all off, we end up at Genesis Week. Now you meet everybody. You're no longer on a Zoom, from Lindsay and Mallory and Dirk and Adon and Carlos and Mark. I mean, I'm talking, all the people that we're working with all the time that now become real, and to see their passion and excitement in person about what we're doing and what every other game that was there and every other player that was there, the hackathon. It's just, it's like having tons of kids. I mean, they have a beam in their eyes, and that's when it really cemented for me. And that's even when my Upland volume started increasing and my playing as a player, because now I know the people.
Well, I'm glad you bring up that, because that's kind of That's kind of an interesting point. And I like that idea is you talking about Genesis Week. The one thing that I wanted to put out there was, we've had Upland talk about, working with Layer 2, and we've had Upland talk about working with partners, and we've seen all of that, but we've never had Upland really come to bat. And again, this is for you, Sean, mostly. Obviously, Satoshi as well. Satoshi is very, very well spoken, but you come in as somebody who's coming in as a partner. We've never had a partner represent themselves in such a way that you'd expect to see, somebody come out with, like we talk about AAA game, somebody coming out and talk about AAA game with that passion, with that background, with that polish. And we've never seen that in the ecosystem, where something comes out and just like the range, the metaphor, when we see that first experience, it's very polished. It's not iterative. It's not something that's janky. We're not seeing that we're having weapons collisions. We're not seeing that we're having load errors on the screen. It's very, very polished. And I think that's what I can say is, even from day one, when you guys bring this still in development, but bring this demo into Genesis Week, it was polished from day one. You knew what you wanted to say. You knew what the vision was, and very much so. I think that boded very, very well and made people have a lot of excitement for what was going to be the future of X in Upland, and overall this cross-platform potential long-term potential cross-chain Layer 2 developer in the space, in the NFT space.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that transpired when you talked about like a janky little demo model, when we first met about a year ago, we were challenged by the dev team and said, look, okay, we like what you guys are doing. We kind of lifted the veil, had a private meeting. Satoshi and SA drove that. And basically we were issued a challenge to come back in a couple of weeks with a game that we think that, because we were building an epic, and Lieutenant Dan, our creative director, credible pedigree from Activision, Blizzard, and that's where the DNA and all this amazingness comes from, and has really inspired what you see in the X Polemo metaphor. And that type of AAA background and Dan's experience carried over. But when we first started, we had to make a Unity version because we were building in UE5. So we had to completely change what we were doing, but we really felt very passionate about it because of Essie and Satoshi. We went to work, and that janky demo version you talked about, we made in 2 weeks. And that green lighted us to move to the next step. But that was almost a year ago, if not maybe about a year now. So it's a process. So for builders out there, it is a process. And when two companies together, it's not without friction. It's never perfect, because you have to learn to get those people and processes to come together, right? And go like this. Somebody taught me a long time ago, like this, right? Where everybody's moving in the same.
Yeah.
Right.
And alignment, right? Yeah.
Starts like this, but slowly it's like that. But that's a year of work. It's a year of meetings and emails and dev and investment and trial and error and failure and mild successes and hurry up and wait, because at the end of the day, Upland is an incredible platform. It's visionary. What they're doing with daily active, you get players on it's unbelievable. And the vision gets rewarded with that major funding round recently, right? And all the great things that they continue to do. But you're hitching your trailer to this incredible, juggernaut. So that comes with its challenges, but you learn so much, because when you talk about AAA, well, we're dealing with a AAA company, right?
I like to hear it described that way. I mean, so Upland is much more iterative than you guys seem to be. And again, I have no problem with iterative. I've been in the Web3 space for long enough to see plenty of iterative projects. But I mean, that was kind of my point in saying the polish, because you didn't come with an alpha. You didn't say, hey, this is the alpha, or hey, come and buy, and we'll transition to weapon bundles here in just a second. Look at this. Watch this segue happen. But you didn't come and say, hey, buy these weapons. In 6 months, they'll have a utility. We'll give you that game once you pay us money to buy this. We're going to bootstrap this project. You didn't do that. You did the investment in the development up front. You worked on the iterative process of we have to polish, and then you come with the polish, which again is very different than what we often see in the space.
That means a lot.
You know, Goldsmith, that reminds me, because, you know, as we're doing the early iterations, you know, like you guys see like the more polished version, but just imagine what I saw from day one. And I can tell you that seeing it from day one, even like in the worst form, I was so excited to even see it happen, you know?
Oh, and for sure. I mean, like, that's the thing is I've been part of some dev processes, and you see the original version. And you say, you know, what is going to happen? Who needs to get involved? Is this going to come in on time? And I am familiar with those questions along the way. But again, it's the proof is in the pudding, right? And then you see this final process. You either choose to get to a point where it looks really good before you let anyone see it, or you put it out halfway and hope people stick around for the next version. And again, that's just not something that you guys did, which I really appreciate. But on that point of not leading with the sale, not leading with the asset, not leading with the buy this and you'll get something to do with it later, I'm looking forward to the fact that in the next near future, you guys have a bundle sale coming up. I like the fact that there's a game that's cohesive. We can play it. We can be competitive. We can have scores. We can get better at it. Again, as you said, Sean, it is a free process. Get in, get your experience, get your reps in. Costs you nothing to do so now. But then you're going to have a way to modify that and use your gameplay to potentially move forward and modify the bundles. And I would love for whoever wants to put their hand up and talk about what that process looks like and what that's going to look like for players getting something they're buying in a bundle and modifying it by how they are able to play.
Yeah. Let me just do the lead in, and then I'll let Essay take it and kind of dive into the more granular mutable attributes and the things you're asking about. The great thing about the free play too is, to your point, is that the weapons that are in the range, those are the base weapons, but they're actually the Cabot, Big Daddy Damascus. It's the two versions of the CEO core lead operations. And these are in real life weapons manufacturers. And one of the things that's really a major leap forward in gaming is that we've brought the first actual weapons manufacturers, real weapons, not make believe with different skins, but the Cabot Big Daddy Damascus, there's 3 of them in existence. It's got a meteorite handle from the moon. It's an amazing, amazing weapon. It's beautiful. And that's a 6-figure weapon. The Big Daddy Damascus sold for $57,000 or something like that. I think the first sale of it. And you're going to be able to have an exclusive version of that, or you could use the base version. And SA will talk about the differences in the different weapons. But then the CEO, core lead operations, and these are run by former tactical U.S. military. These are incredible companies. You can learn more about them in our Discord. They have channels in our Discord where you can connect with them. So ultimately, you have these real incredible digital twins that look and feel like the real thing, but you get to own that asset, right? And you get to then level up that, and I'll let SA get into that. I don't want to step on him, but
I'm gonna circle back on that point, Sean, that you bring up here. But I'd love to hear about the bundles. You know, the bundles of the assets and how those assets work from SA. But you put a good thing I want to put a pin on, because that type of synergy with a partner is incredible. So SA, jumping back to the bundles and the assets. What are we looking at, and what does that mutable asset cycle look like?
Yeah, well, as you see on the landing page, those weapons bundles are going to be real cheap. So they're very affordable. They're going to be available for everybody in the community. And the mutable assets, essentially follows, what we've been talking about for a while with cars. And so, we're going to have the ability to modify those assets, the mutable variables, and modify them and essentially make them one of one. So even though they're going to be certain mint numbers, you can upgrade them, you can buy them at the base, and then use the range and change those mutable attributes. So that's that's kind of an overview of how that's going to work. If you go to the range and you play, when you hit play, you'll see that on the right hand side you see some of those mutable attributes, which are going to be iterated on and fine tuned. And that just allows for other economies to kind of spring up where, I'm sure there are going to be players who just buy the weapons bundles and then play the game to upgrade and then trade them or resell them.
That's an interesting point. You mentioned that right up front about that economy, that idea that you could be flipping from again, a player to somebody who's actively trying to sell. That you're creating, and you are modifying an asset and trying to take a profit on that asset. That you can have that process of adding in that gameplay to profit potentially. Again, you mentioned the stats here, trying to get this popped up on the side here. So is that the real true base with this idea that you're going to have leveling on top of it, or are we more going to see a different base when we have these actual assets come out?
Yeah, so when the actual assets come out, they're all gonna, there are different tiers. So there are 4 tiers of each weapon: the handgun, the AR, and the sniper. And you'll see that they all have a base stats, base level stat of those mutable attributes, and you're gonna be able to build on that. So, for example, like the accuracy and precision, one of the in the background will be keeping track of number of headshots and bullseyes, for example, and range. So there's going to be, there's going to be an opportunity here not only to get in, for very cheap upix, but also to upgrade these weapons. And there are going to be some people who are going to want to keep these weapons, like myself. I'm going to want to play with these weapons and display them at some point. But yeah, and I think maybe Satoshi can weigh in too, because we worked really hard for a long time, about how we're going to work these mutable assets.
Yeah, so sorry. To give like a further breakdown as far as the guns go, the goal of separating, the various packs into 3 different packs, like, you have different odds of getting a higher higher ranking attributes on your gun. But the goal was to make the assets have a mutable attribute where they can actually grow with the gun. So as you play more inside the range, you can actually up level the gun. So it doesn't just create a scenario where people are just buying their way to the top gun, whereas any player, we want to make it accessible and affordable to everybody, with the opportunity to grow your weapons value over time, as opposed to just getting the nicer one up front, like putting an effort to build it.
To that point, again, this is an interesting thing that I saw here, because again, seeing the price setting, Upland's been doing some crazy things with price setting. Players have done some crazy things with price setting, where we see these map assets in layer 1, 30, 40, 60, 80,000 upix for a map asset. The price pointing for these bundles, 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, again, stepping up in rarity or stepping up in the premium nature of each of those bundles. I mean, that price pointing looks like it is somebody who wants to reach a mass audience, as opposed to just profit off a few dedicated followers or a few dedicated players, which I don't know who came up with that, but I think that is a much better way to look at the process than what we've seen some of the other people who've been trying to build layer 2 projects, or where their mind's been.
Yeah, well, I can't tell you how many times I've signed up or registered, for something, and I'm not even close, and that's not what we want here. We want to make sure everybody has an opportunity. So that's the goal.
And again, part of that, everyone has an opportunity, is there's not 300 of these. They sell out, and I can go cry in the corner. You're going to have a large, theoretically, a large distribution where everybody gets an opportunity. There's going to be enough for people coming in down the line. People don't have to run each other over, Black Friday shopping style, in order to get something.
Yeah, it's tough because I don't know what we can totally give away and whatnot. But yeah, the goal is
Sean can shake his hand and say, his camera's off now, but if he puts his camera back on and he wants to shake his finger at me and tell me not to ask that question, I'm happy not to.
I finally got it back. I got it all back up.
Yeah, so as far as that goes, I guess the shorter answer would be yes. We're trying to obtain the masses, but we do want to give everybody the availability to buy them. So we're definitely thinking at least a time frame window on it.
Oh, sure.
We didn't want to limit, how many packs could be sold at this current time.
So running the series count, number that you're going to sell total, or sorry, running a series count, running a period of time as opposed to a cap number potentially, because that's a very different sales model. And when you run that sales model, you give people the opportunity to make their decision based on what they see, their excitement. Hey, I didn't want to buy yesterday, but I want to buy today, as opposed to people buying a product and then regretting that purchase 2 days later.
And
you got to give people a window.
Yeah, I was going to say the beauty of giving people a window too is we don't really define the initial number of weapons that will be out. So we kind of in my opinion, we'd be letting the market, take control entirely.
And I'm okay with open mintages as long as you have that closure, and that closure is the date. And if people want to assign these special value because 6 years down the line, when there's 1 million players potentially, there's only 500 original cabets that were sold. And of those 500, they've got the different stats. They've been leveled over time. Again, mutable assets been leveled over time. And there's relative rarity. There's the rare version. There's the four rarities, SA? 5 rarities. 4? 5?
There are 4 tiers. There are 4 tiers of each weapon.
4 tiers. So 4 tiers. So 4 rarities. So you have that rarity hit where, someone got lucky, got the really rare one, they leveled it up, and now it's a collectible. But it's not a collectible because you only sold 6 of them. It's a collectible because you sold as many as people wanted at a certain time. The game grew. The value of the item got built by actual gameplay. And now it's a real on-the-shelf collectible for something that someone actually did, as opposed to just getting lucky in a pack hit. Yeah, right. That's me. That's me being excited by the process, because as somebody who comes in from a game standpoint, it's a very different type of gameplay than people thinking that they paid 10,000 UPIX for something and they think it has to be worth more in 6 months just because they want it to be worth more in 6 months.
Right. And that's why they're so inexpensive and allows you to collect them, to trade them, to level them up. And that's an important part, right? Things have to be ultra affordable. And that's a big part of our price point, as you can see on the landing page.
And make it worth more by what you do with it, as opposed to just because you want it to be worth more.
Right. It's not imaginary. Correct.
Oh gosh, I love that.
Real utility that delivers value, and to your point, you can extract more value out of it over time.
Yeah, and again, I think, like I said, the window is going to be a great option. Again, we didn't define the window. Again, you guys, I'm assuming we'll define that at some point. But I mean, we didn't define the window, but there is a closed market here. There's a period of time it's going to end, and the game's just going to grow because Metafort's not just one game. And I do want to put this out here because I think this gets missed over. These weapons are going to have interoperability between multiple Metafort games, correct?
Right.
So you're coming in when the game is really small. It's one game. Now when the Metafort is 17 games, again, pie in the sky, who knows? Never a promise, more of a aspiration. But when there's 17 games, then that means something. It means something that you have one of the first ones, because now there's more utility for the weapons, and now there's 50 times as many, or 100 times as many, and 100 times as many players.
Right, and we're just getting started, right? Blockchain gaming, where we are in Web3 blockchain gaming. The report just came out the other day, 1 million actual wallets, right? Connected wallets in blockchain gaming. That's a $12 billion market cap, the entire gaming ecosystem. And Dogecoin, just to put in perspective, has 60 billion, right?
Yeah.
And so, and Web3 gaming is projected over the next few years to hit 60 billion. So we are going to have what you said. You are so on it about the influx of people and as in Upland, players in Upland. It's going to exponentially grow here over the next 12, 24, 36 months. And there is going to be, that's vision, to have the vision to see that. And that's what it's, because it will have hundreds of thousands of daily active users, will turn into millions of daily active users. And it's not that far away. And all of a sudden, like you said, those first exclusive weapons from these brand partners, to have this digital twin that has these mutable, it's only going to be, as far as the quantity, to your point, will be dwarfed by the scale of the player. So that is a great point, and you truly get it for sure.
You know what, and I like I said, I mean, I like that you're building this. Again, we say that you came to market with something that is polished, but it's still that idea of iteration. We know that the game is going to scale up, and it's scale as we go, right? So it's scale as we go. It's kind of having some idea of building it as things come. But the one thing I think you guys did better than what I ever seen in anything that Upland has done, and again, Upland is a game I love. It's a game I've been involved in for a few years. Coming up on 3 years. Yeah, maybe. Yes. Coming up on 3 years. And it's one of those things that there's highlights and lowlights. But one thing that I've seen that makes you special in the space, and is a very good sign here, a flag for the future, is you've thought about a lot of things before you actually implemented them, and you made them work. And you tied those terms, and you came up with the best terms for both parties. And I want to use that to come back to your brand partners. What are you doing for your brand partners? How does that help you bring the realism into the game? How does your selection of these brand partners help legitimize what you're trying to do with really talking about real world Warcraft, real world study of war, and how does tying that to manufacturers that make weapons that are exciting? How does that all play together? So I can leave it as a big question, or I can make it a smaller question. But I mean,
it's a great question.
Yeah.
I think it's relatively straightforward. So it comes back to the Polemo metaphor and being able to create experiences. And again, I am not able to share one of the experiences that's coming, but you guys are gonna be so pumped, man, and it's very timely. It's not way out there in the future, but these experiences that are in the Polemo metaphor that will integrate these brand partners that go beyond weapons. One of our partners that I can't talk about is Survival Dispatch, the founder of Big Daddy Unlimited, which is one of the leading online sports outdoor tactical retailers. The Big Daddy Damascus was custom made for them. They commissioned those three, and that's what makes it so unique. But those brand partners, that's an online retailer, right? Survival Dispatch is all about survival, right? Prepper, that type of, and that's a huge segment. But we're going to have a survival experience in the Polemo metaphor that's branded and integrated with Survival Dispatch, where you can learn these real survival tactics and strategies in an immersive game environment. And that's what Polemo metaphor is about. That's what the X Polemo range is about, which ties back to the X NFT Genesis collection and all, right? So it's a very big ecosystem. But the Polemo metaphor, just again to reduce it to Upland and where we are today, let's keep it focused there. I think that's important because it's about the players in Upland. Is that branded experience will allow you to connect with that brand at a whole new level. And that's what Web3 is about, right? Web2, you're going to love, you get this as a marketer, Goldsmith. Web2 is about, and I'm a marketer. I didn't get to tell you that in the green room.
Well, I was going to say that I kind of said how polished you were, but I was going to say they bring a marketer to work on a project, and it really shows because the first time you see the project, it looks good. That's been thought about. It's been thought about angles. And again, the go-to-market was thought about very much ahead of us even getting whiff that this existed.
Yeah, man. Innovations, iterations, iterations, right? And time, which is not always your friend. Yeah. But we built it in a bear, so you have to be patient, and you have to know not to The problem, people panic in a bear, right? Or any type of situation. If you're getting attacked by a real bear, you're going to panic, right? But the key is not to panic and not to start doing things that jeopardize the integrity of the product and launching things too soon, talking about too much too soon. As much as your community, it drives them crazy. And that's, I know some of the challenge, right, is because it's when. But if you're really iterating and you're innovating and you're developing and you're able to drip out a little bit here and there, and keep the community engaged and reward them during these times, it comes to fruition, just like as we went live on the 16th in Upland, right? That's a couple of years of work to get here. You know, it didn't happen overnight. But back to the brand partners and why it's so important is that these immersive experiences allow you to connect with these brands at a whole new level. Like Survival Dispatch is incredible. You should look them up. On their website is amazing. They're just an incredible company. They're doing something very unique. And they got all kinds of cool stuff happening with TV shows in production. It's really cool. But be able to train with special operators and survival experts in an immersive experience where you actually learn, where in a real world experience, something goes down, you won't panic. You will know what to do because, I mastered that level in the Polemo Metaphor Survival Dispatch experience.
Are you talking about modified Sears training in a virtual environment?
Yes.
Hot. So yeah, that's it. Because again, people anybody who's been involved with, again, not to disclose too much, but anyone's been involved and actually done a Sears training, to see that again, there's people who that is something that is going to open their eyes. Again, I know that's one thing you've mentioned before is it is more than just this is a fun game. This is a reality. This opens people's eyes into some of the intensity and reality of combat and warfare. So I think it's interesting that you guys are doing that up front, and you mention it now that's something you're going to be working towards in the not so distant future.
Right. And then you'll be able to connect with those brands, not only on a personal level, like where would you get access to the CEO of Survival Dispatch? Well, you can here. And not only that, but in Discord, they have channels. All of our brand sponsors have channels. You can interact with them. You can learn about their products, and you're dealing with, the founders of the companies because they're personally involved at that level because of the fact that, they're looking to bring their products into the metaverse, going from physical to digital, and then digital back to phygital, right? Back to physical, which is phygital. So the phygital movement, right, and all the big brands that are moving into the phygital experience is what we're doing. It's some of the key pillars in value creation in the metaverse. And those pillars center around, e-commerce and microtransactions. And you're going to be able to interact with those brands and actually purchase their products that show up to your front door in an immersive gaming experience on a metaverse platform where you're a gamer. And then
you have the phygital backsourcing where someone buys the physical item and it comes with a free phygital or whatever that represents it in the digital space.
Or you can burn an NFT, right? A digital collectible for the physical item. There's those types of opportunities, but there's also those in real life opportunities. Like Syndicus, which is going to be a weapon that will come out here in the future as an exclusive drop. That is a little bit of alpha for you, but incredible company out of Southern California. They got a full shoot house. Being able to experience that and go there, right, and actually learn from active duty first responders and the CEOs of these companies that are not only computer scientists but active duty. It's amazing to be able to connect with them and then actually experience that in just like you were in the range, but do that in person in San Diego. Well, by having access to these digital collectibles gives you access to those in real life events that are available now and or in the future.
And that's huge because, and I want to say this now because I know we're starting to run time. I don't want to keep running time on you guys. You guys have to wave me and say shut up, Goldsmith, at a certain point. But the one thing that I think is really cool that I want to kind of put out there is how expansive this all is. Even though you're talking about being tied into Upland as a metaverse, being cross metaverse, cross chain metaverse at some point, multiple metaverses with entries into the metaphor. It is so big, the aspiration, the actual, the footprint, what you've already done. You've already built this out so that you can have the next experience and the next experience, the next experience. This is huge. I mean, these are real world brands. These are not fly by night. These are not something that started yesterday. There is a inbuilt following, and when Upland, brought in Axe Polemo as its first, real, I will say, first real layer 2 of an existing high quality game. Again, there's been a lot of people put effort in, but a developed game that's coming into the game of Upland. They got a lot more than just Polemo, right? Because it's all these brand sponsorships. It's all this interaction inside the metaphor, but that kind of has those ties back and forth to Upland. So it's like a cross market, right? You're bringing your own market with you. You're bringing your own fan base into the metaphor, which is going to translate back into Upland. So I'm very excited to see that crossplay.
Right, and it is. I was talking, and I got myself sidetracked, and I was talking about, you'll love this point, that Web 2 is about audience segmentation and Web 3 is about community. That's the difference versus a Web 2 where they're looking to curate an audience and spend display and social all these things, pixels on websites to follow people around. That's not what Web 3 is about. It's very organic, and it's grown from the streets, from the community, from the players. And that's why we take this position about affordability, available for everybody, giving people the opportunity to participate, see if they want to participate, because not everything's for everybody. You're not going to make everybody happy. It's not a bad thing, right? But if you could play it for free and get to experience it and build a community around not only the X Polemo range, but what the X Polemo fort represents. And like you said, it is expansive, but that's why it's kind of like, how do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time.
Exactly.
And that's why we'll launch this mini games out. We'll iterate. We'll innovate. It's going to be even better in a week. Then you're going to be able to tournament play weapons, right? And we're just going to keep evolving this game, this range that will expand its aperture. You'll be able to do more than just play in a tournament. There'll be 1v1s. You're going to do squad. I mean, it's so exciting. But you start small and you expand it by not being in a vacuum and taking all that community feedback. And we're just so pumped, Goldsmith. I know we're probably way over time.
No. I don't have time. I'm respecting your time, but I don't have time because this is a great conversation. Like I said, I want people to be able to say the best version of their things and to be excited about about their project. Because I feel like people ask questions sometimes that are like, yes, I can't answer that. I can't answer that. I would rather you say what excites you about your project, and I'm excited about your project, so I can talk about your product all day.
I love it.
I'm super excited too. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I can't wait for the targets and the ammo to come out.
Yes. So I mean, I know you had said about like the hint, this might be something down the line, but I took that as it's coming at some point. We can't talk about it. But
hold on. Upland's calling me. Hold on, I got to take this. No, okay.
Don't talk about it. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is like I never like to push that stuff, but it's huge and it's exciting. And the idea that that there's modifiers and there's that means there's a continued depth, right? There's a continued depth of gameplay. There's an evolution of gameplay, which is what keeps things exciting when we talk about these beta games that come out. The reason why you've had 7 Days to Die in alpha, an open alpha for 10 years, and you had Rust in an alpha state for 10 years was because the innovation, the iteration, the new features, that's what people were excited about. That's what kept them playing.
Yeah.
And
they kept innovating.
It kept innovating. And sometimes it wasn't always like a new technology. It was just a new way of interacting. A new methodology, a new mechanic, which again, I think you guys already bullets. I think you guys are already hinting that there's already this mechanic that you are going to be able to enjoy the first version, but there's something that's going to come later that's going to enhance that experience.
Yeah, my dad used to always say to me, "Wherever you are, be there." And
Yeah.
right now, we are at an incredible time to be able to play and enjoy it and really get good and learn the mechanics of the weapons, like you said, because when's coming, right? Next week will come and the weapons packs will come soon this month. But ultimately, what's important is that you enjoy the moment right now. And that's what I want people to do, is really enjoy the moment and be here.
It's the 21st today, Sean.
Oh, I know.
There's only 9 days left this month,
Oh,
Sean.
I get it.
Okay. Just making sure that math makes sense for people.
Yeah.
Anyways, you know what? And what I liked about this idea of evolution is I already heard this argument with people. It's like, okay, it's a little range. It's the same exact play. I played it 5 times, whatever the case is. That's not going to be exciting for me in 6 months. That's not what it's going to be in 6 months. It
won't be that in a short period of time, and then
it won't be that in 9 days. You know, that idea, and again, the joke in Upland has always been the word soon. You guys use soon, and you got to know how loaded that term is in Upland.
I know.
Because yeah, it's just like not a joke. I mean, like 2 years ago, year and a half ago, there was this thing. I may have been involved in it with Soon TM, because you know it's kind of the Upland's thing, and it was such a big thing that they adopted it as Soon TM for some of their thing, because they were owning the fact that they were pushing things on. We're not talking about Soon TM. We're talking about soon means it's coming in a finite number of weeks.
Right. And I think it's so important that I'm glad that you really stressed that point about it's not just about where we are today. It's just in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. This isn't just something we built and said, oh, hey, it's done. It's so far from that, because this is what expands into those other games. But this game has so much more expansion to it, and so many more variables and dynamics and play options.
And stations coming up. Oh no, I wasn't told that by you, but that's what I see with the range is give me some stations, give me some run drills. Come on, let's go.
Yes, expansive, right?
Yeah.
More than just the way that it's set up today, but you have to start right. You have to start small, think tall, right, and keep innovating and iterating.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and again, it's huge. Again, the one thing I'm going to drop this because you know I'm not going to drop the image, but I was looking at the Polemo games, and you know you talk about sponsors, and oh my gosh, here is some vehicles that were in your official sponsorships as of right now, official brand partners. There's vehicles already in there. If people want to go, if people want to play the Upland game, when they start throwing something in their head and saying, what could this be in 6 months?
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Look, go to Polemo.games. Go to what's the official website?
That's it.
What's the official website for Polemo.games? Okay, go to Polemo.games, and you could see on that landing page these sponsors that we haven't even mentioned. They can give you a hint at what's going to happen in the future.
Yes, and we're allowed to talk about that and have that there.
We're allowed to talk. Well, I'm allowed to talk about it without saying what game experiences are coming, because it's out there. So people can make that speculation if they want. Look at what's there. It's going to be utilized in some fashion in a new game experience within the future, you know, some point in the future. So that's really exciting that you have that out there. The game, the continued, partnerships growing is going to be huge. And I'm assuming you're not going to stop. Like, you're going to continue to build partners in the space, and it's a broad space. If you talk about what's associated, it's a big space, and I think that there's plenty of room to grow in it.
And just because you mentioned the vehicle on our homepage there, again, who's got a vehicle that not only drives on land but flies at the same time?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah.
It's not just a make-believe gun. It's not just a make-believe vehicle that can fly. It's real. and you could connect with Skyrunner, and you could literally go to their facility and get in a Skyrunner and get trained, and you could buy one for $500,000. Or you'll be able to have a digital twin of one soon.
Well, I was gonna say you could buy one for $500,000 or like 50,000 uppies. I would rather pay the 50,000 uppies. I'll be honest with you.
Let's take a step further. So imagine test driving one of these, not having insurance on it and crashing it. Now compare that to playing it inside a game.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and here's the thing, and again, not to get pie in the side, not to get crazy. I appreciate the fact that you guys are so realistic about what's actually coming out in the immediate future, but not to get pie in the sky here. When we start talking about digital spaces and metaverses, the true idea of metaverses, especially since you're graphically similar to the real world, Upland obviously isn't. At this point, but you're very graphically similar to the real world. You can have those experiences that emulate a real life experience. Like you said, Satoshi, whether that is driving a vehicle that has very real or very similar control dynamics, whether that is going through a military scenario that's going to have similar realities to, a real military scenario, or even this gun range. It feels, as far as bullet drop, as far as patterning, as far as response, it feels very real for somebody who's been in a range. And again, it seems like that's been a focus up front. I mean, I don't know if you can get into it, but obviously that's Lieutenant Dan's specialty. So that's something I'm assuming they took really seriously up front, because it feels like it.
That is a specialty, and Dan is, he is beyond master class at his level of VR, AR, XR. That's his specialty, and it was always his dream to create lifelike immersive experience, resurrect memories. SA and Satoshi are legendary commanders in the XNFT Genesis collection, which was created by Dan, and that's all of those years at Activision Blizzard and all of his life's work to focus on how to make the player better through these real life immersive experiences that just aren't about button mashers and shooting people, and it's real immersive experiences living from the resurrected digital memories of Joan of Arc, which you could chat on Polemo. You shared it with everybody.
They're live right now. Absolutely.
Yeah, you could go chat with 5 legendary commanders right now using our AI chat that we built. That was a way to reward our holders during the bear. We actually diverted dollars, created a really cool interactive AI commander chat feature on our platform. And you could literally sit down and have a conversation tonight with any Napoleon, who is very timely right now.
That's Thanksgiving, that movie, right?
And his Bicorn sold 2 days ago for $2.something million.
Something incredible, $2.something million, exactly.
Right. And Lieutenant Dan recreated that Bicorn. It's on the X Twitter page, as a matter of fact, the XNFT's Twitter page. That Bicorn was recreated. SA owns that. That Bicorn, that digital twin that was posted, he is the actual legendary commander, Napoleon, in the XNFT. And you can go chat with Napoleon right now in AI Commander chat, and you'll be blown away about life skills. You can apply. I tell people all the time, I joke, but I have more meaningful conversations with these AI commanders than I do with people on a day. It's amazing because you could ask them any question. It's historic, but you could communicate with them by asking a direct question about something challenging in business or in life, and their answer, you would be blown away how it can apply to your daily life for dealing with challenges, obstacles, all kinds of stuff, challenging people. It's amazing.
You gave me homework for the meeting I have tomorrow, Sean. Good job.
Yes. You're welcome. Well, he probably could do your homework for you, a little bit of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll save me some prep time in that meeting tomorrow. I love it. It. No, so that's awesome. And again, I love how, because you mentioned that. Let me know when the Legionnaires are happening. That was a cough, but again, you've got so many iterations of things happening all at once. I'm sure it's going to be a deeper conversation at some point, because there's more things to discuss. But on the front end, the game is up and running. It's been running. People have been increasing their scores. They need to stop so I can be competitive. And more's coming. Leaderboards end of the month, bundles end of the month, and besides that, what else is going on? What else do you want people to know that they don't know yet about Polemo, about the vision, about what your favorite color? I don't know.
Black, of course.
Yeah. But yeah, anything I'm missing that you guys really want to put out there that you're not seeing, haven't been seen out there, haven't got a chance to put out there yet?
I think we've said it all. I mean, we could keep. I mean, seriously, I think we could talk. I could talk to you for hours, so
yeah.
We don't have to go anywhere. But I think really that we have said a lot, and the cup runneth over. I think probably for everybody. There's a lot of information here. I think the biggest takeaway, Goldsmith, that you shared with everybody is that this is a much more expansive ecosystem, and this is one small mini game that is going to expand and get better and more challenging and more options. And it's going to allow you to generate value from it, right? From your assets. And I think we've talked about all the key things, and really it's just about getting out there and, like you said, racking the scores up, practicing, and knowing that that you will be, you'll be happy that you put the time into practice when those tournaments open.
So grandma, you can go sit and finish up whatever you're having or whatever you're making for Thanksgiving. I'm going to go play this game in a corner for a while. Okay.
Yeah,
I got it.
You'll probably be able to get away with it too, because just get in the way.
Yeah, so I don't want to be in the way. I want to just get that taken care of. Exactly. Essay, Satoshi, any final thoughts? Thank you guys for coming in tonight, of course. Satoshi, I hear that you sound a little sick. Essay, you sound great. What's up? What do you have for thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm happy to be here. Being in this community and associated with Sean and this in Polemo Games, and I just wanted to reiterate, we are looking for everybody to weigh in as well. So on our Discord, we have a community feedback channel, so we'd love to hear everybody's thoughts.
And since you hit that up, Essay. Sean, you mentioned it. You're looking at what people are saying to help improve things on your Twitter. Twitter is going to be Polemo Games. Yes, at Polemo Games. Yep. The website is polemo.games. And the Discord, what's the easiest way for people to get to your Discord other than send me a link and I'll throw it in the description on the YouTube?
Yeah, absolutely. So you could connect to Discord from polemo.games, and you could go directly to it at XNFT.
Okay, perfect.
That's the Discord channel.
It's just at XNFT. You search that in channels, you'll find the channel.
Right. Or perfect. Go to Polemo Games and connect right to the Discord button.
Polemo.games. Done deal.
Sorry, not button.
Okay, fair enough. But Polemo.games, look for the whatever that is, the game controller for Discord link, and when you click on that, you head right there.
Yeah, this has been great, man. Yeah. This is awesome.
Satoshi, I know you're sick. Thank you for coming in. Any thoughts, anything that you want to put out that we missed?
No, I think you absolutely nailed it. Last thing I wanted to say is, definitely we love to hear, further community feedback. The more people that contribute and, add their thoughts into the platform, the better we can make it.
Hey, I appreciate it. I'm going to thank you guys. I hope I didn't eat too much of your time. Very much looking forward to continuing this conversation, or at least having one again when you have more things to talk about, because you will have more things to talk about at some point in the near future. I'm going to finish up my show, but I am going to thank you guys again for your time, and very much looking forward to seeing what happens in the next 9 days.
You got it. And thanks everybody for listening and spending the time tonight. Thanks, Goldsmith.
Hey, thank you guys. Well, with that, I will definitely have them back. There's no question. A lot happening. I keep saying the 9 days. Sometime in the next 9 days, you will see leaderboards come into the gun range. At some point in the next 9 days, you will see those bundle sales happen in Polemo Games. So keep your eyes open. And of course, let's get to the last couple things in Upland and head into the rest of Thanksgiving week. And again, the big note here, obviously saying that heading into the Thanksgiving week, no questions, no surprises. It is the second, third, second, third, one of the other that we've celebrated Thanksgiving. I think we celebrated Thanksgiving 3 years in a row here in Upland. But what we have also done in the last 2 years is had this turkey chase. They called it a chase last year. They're calling it a chase again, and it's the same thing as we've had in the past, except a little bit of a twist. The prizes have changed up a little bit. The way in which, or the cities in which you're going to compete, have changed a little bit. So let's get into that announcement. Let me get this up and shared so we can take a look at that. And of course, as I'm jumping to do so, just a heads up, it is already open. So if you are interested in treasure hunting, we've talked about treasure hunting. Obviously, right now it is on mobile only. It is not on the PC, so keep that in mind. But take a look at the turkey chase so we can get a better look here. Getting that shared so we can all take a look. There we go. Taking a look at our turkey chase. A key thing here on the turkey chase is look at the AIR up front. I gotta share this so you can see what this AIR looks like. Crazy. Look at this turkey over here. Here it is. Come on, look at this turkey. That's not a piece of turkey. These eyes over here, I don't know what's going on. We got to get in there. We got to take a look at those. The eyes, crazy. I don't know what's going on here. But of course, Upland keeps telling us with the Gaia, with the Miles explorations here with totems that they are working with AI, and for sure they're working with AI. There's no question there. The fans on these turkeys, who knows what's going on here? I swear this turkey has 6 wings. It's a little bit of fun, but of course, the fun for the treasure hunters, of course, is going to be a treasure hunt series between today, Tuesday, the 21st of November, 9 a.m. PT that kicked off. That does run till this coming Friday, November 24th, 9 a.m. PT. Quick note here. Due to recent treasure hunting changes, the turkey chase is playable only on the mobile version of Upland. Of course, I mentioned that up front, but that is a note not to miss. The turkey chase 2023 details. We did talk about this rotational 10-city hunting method Upland's been using for a while. Nashville, Dallas, Cleveland, Bronx, Brooklyn, Staten Island, Manhattan, San Francisco, Oakland, and Fresno, being the cities that we will have in this hunt that we will be seeing here, of course, over the future. We do see these change from one city hunt to another, but that's what we have for the Turkey Chase 2023. To catch the turkeys, players will now have 3 separate competitive treasure hunting spawning in each city. Each of the 3 hunts featured different turkey treasures to catch, and each turkey has each player that players catch, each turkey players catch, has a reward. Each of the 3 types, obviously, different rewards for each. The 3 turkeys you're hunting for are the crazy turkey, the scared turkey, and the golden turkey. The crazy turkey is going to give you a small amount of upix. It's also going to give you 3 points for a drawing. Again, the drawing plays into these prizes that will be available at the end for block explorers, and it's a drawing. You earn the points, you earn the entries, and then you have a drawing at the end. You may be getting a block explorer. Scared turkey. Find the scared turkey treasure rewards with greater UPX rewards. 5 points for drawing, and of course, this is going to be something that is less common. Every time you get one of those, it's a 1-hour cooldown. It's a 30-minute cooldown for a crazy turkey. And the golden turkey, this is a little different. Same as we had in the past, but a little different. We've changed in some of these iterations. The cooldown on a golden turkey is actually 12 hours. So you get a gold turkey. You can't get another one for 12 hours. 50 points when you do get a golden turkey. And of course, no questions asked. You're going to get some upix along the way when you do so. And here's what's different. We can take a look at our turkeys. Oh, aren't they cute? Here's your breakdowns, your tiers 1 through 5. You can see that for each of the tiers, you have different points for different turkeys. You see the 50 upix here, the golden turkey, 50 entries here, tier 5. We can go look at the crazy turkey at a tier 1, 500 upix. And 3 entries. Take a look, get closer in there if you're going to be hunting, if it matters to you. The big thing for most people is as many of these entries as possible because they want to win the prize. They want to win those block explorers. But we keep having these contests with a 500 of a block explorer or 800 of a block explorer. And Upland's been signaling something interesting. They've been signaling that block explorers are going to get more rare again. Block explorers used to be rare. There wasn't a ton of them. They weren't given out that often when they were sold. They weren't given in large quantities. And then all of a sudden there was 2,600 or 3,000 of these Halloween block explorers, and people didn't know what to do with them. And there was more of them than there was people who even wanted block explorers, period. So Upland has gone the other way. Upland is getting pretty limited in these block explorers. With these hunts, there was previously hundreds of block explorers given out, thousands of block explorers in some cases given out. This time around, you got 3 block explorers you could get. Each of these block explorers has 50 mints. So the drawing is there's going to be 50 mints of this nice little inflatable Gratitude A, Gratitude B, inflatable over to the side, and then Gratitude C, inflatable over to the other side. That is going to be 50 of each, a total of 150 people drawn. The harder you work, the more entries you have, the more chances, individual chances you have to win. And I have competed in these things and had a metric crap ton of entries and still not been drawn. So there's no guarantee that your effort's going to get you a prize, but it is going to get you closer to that prize, going to get you more entries. And of course, if you participate once, you get one treasure. You don't feel like you're the best treasure hunter, but you're going to try and you compete and you don't get one. You do get one, you get 2 entries, 3 entries. If you get those 3 entries, those 3 entries could be enough to win you one of these block explorers. So it's kind of nice that it does democratize the potential of winning. It does reward extra effort with the potential of more chances of winning. So the one thing that's different is that we have a lot less of these overall. But since they're of 50, each of these block explorers are of 50, that might make the demand higher because their supply is pretty low, and maybe there's a secondary market there. Fingers crossed. We'll see whether or not you're getting ready, gearing up for Thanksgiving feast, or you just simply have a soft spot for our feathered friends, the turkeys. The turkey chase offers a delightful opportunity to venture through upland cities, accumulate Yopics, and perhaps even secure a block explorer. Again, 150 of these. There's more than 150 hunters. So not everyone's going to get a block explorer, no matter how good of a hunter they are. It's kind of exciting to see that. Again, this is another compete in a contest with no guarantee of winning. Kind of fun. The hunt is underway. Don't wait. It is going between today and Friday. Compete, sneak away from grandma. Go try to do treasure hunting. Keep in mind, treasure hunting is on your phone, so it's easier to sneak a phone than it is a laptop, or than it would be a whole tower system if you're trying to sneak that in. So keep that in mind as you do go to Thanksgiving. There is something to do in Upland. Hopefully we don't have a sneaky block explorer sale, because last time they did, I got in trouble for trying to buy a turkey at the kitchen table while we were getting ready for a holiday meal. So at least treasure hunting you can do in 3 minutes, in 3-minute intervals. You just spend a couple minutes doing it and you're done for the next bit until the next cycle comes up. So looking forward to seeing that happen. It is already going. Block explorers, again, much more limited, and it is something that I like. The iteration, I like Upland changing that focus a little bit. Otherwise, let's take a look what else we've got. I think that is pretty tight on what we have, except for we had a sale today. The sale that we had did go through pretty quickly. The Upics, I had 1,900 people in front of me for the Upix side. So there's still plenty of people registering. I'm still getting at the end of the line every single time. So that means none for me in Upix for totem passes. I had the opportunity in USD. I was 200th in line for USD. Go figure, Upland wants my money. And I did go ahead and buy one. The second one could have bought. Decided not to. So I do have the one totem pass that I bought this time around. And I'm holding on to Upix. Who knows? Maybe the next totem sale I'll get luckier. Fingers crossed. We'll see how that goes. Again, we continue to see this be something that happens quickly. We continue to see people excited to purchase these totem passes. And of course, we are on chapter 4. Upland's been running about a 2 to 3 week cycle to build the totems, to have the totems built so that they could have the sale. 3 weeks out from today, if I look at my handy dandy calculator, calculator, 3 weeks out from today is going to put us into the middle of December. We're talking about the potential, if we just want to throw a number on the calendar, somewhere between the 7th and the 14th of December or 7th and the 15th of December, sorry. It'll likely be in the sale. We know that Monday's sales and Friday's sales have been what we've seen on these passes, with the exchange to follow a few days later. There you go. We'll keep our eyes out when Chapter 5 is going to happen. Looks like it's going to happen before Christmas. Read into it what we will. We'll see if the utility, if the snapshot, if we get Protem by the end of the year. But it does look like we're going to wrap up our Totem sales here potentially by the end of the year with getting ready for life, getting ready for the Totem cycle, and very much excited to see that. The couple other things that we don't want to miss, if you are in on them, if you are somebody who is in UGC, if you are trying to build out the future of Upland, you still have time. So we do still have, as of today, don't miss it, don't forget it, don't sleep on it if it's something that is important to you. That is that we do still have the ugliest sweater contest. That contest runs through the 30th, so that is still open as of today. And if I go take a look at that contest, we're not going to go into deep details because we've gone through it before, but it's still open. The 30th is the date that you do have to get things sent in. If you're not familiar with the guidelines, if you haven't gone through and taken a look at this, if you just woke up today and realized that UGC is an option for you and you have the blender skills, you may still have time between now and the 30th, between now and the middle end of next week. You still have time to get that sent in. Keep in mind that this is an opportunity to showcase your skills in an area of Upland that we don't yet have, and that is wearables. UGC wearables, I should say, does not exist in Upland yet. Usually Upland is iterative with things like this. They run a contest, and then maybe they run another contest, maybe they don't run another contest, but sometimes it comes into the game of Upland. We expect to see it. We expect to see UGC wearables. Take this seriously. If you're serious about wearables, this is your first chance to interact with Upland for wearables, and it may be something that you get many more chances in the not so distant future. One other thing, obviously, that we are keeping our eyes out for as we do continue on here, and we're going to continue to keep our eyes out on for, obviously, is we do expect at some point, because we do still have sales to happen, we do expect the Stock Car Pro Series bundles to drop at some point. Keep our eyes open on that. Today is Tuesday, tomorrow is Wednesday. The NFLPA registration for bundles, that will happen tomorrow into Thursday, with Thursday being a sale day, sale of those bundles. Again, registration gets you a better spot in line. The UPX bundles tend to sell out, especially the game pass bundles. And then we see the USD side tend to lag. Some of them sell out, some of them don't. But we will see how that continues to travel throughout the rest of the year. We're getting close to the end of the year. And the big note here, if you didn't remember, they pushed the second challenge, the second Players Challenge, to the 23rd. That's this coming Thursday, 9 a.m. PT. It was earlier in the month. So that is going to be the end of 2, starting 3. If you haven't gotten a chance to, move around, get things all situated, all figured out for your collections, to get the maximum points, as that is going to end, that fan challenge is going to end, go ahead and take the time and do so. Again, Thursday, 9 a.m. PT, that's going to kick off, or that's going to kick off for the 3rd and for the 2nd. Besides that, other than that, it was a great interview. I'm going to thank Polemo Games again. I'm looking for the future of what this looks like in 9 days, sometime in 9 days. We will have another iteration for the first major, what I call the first major layer 2 ecosystem, because again, it's an ecosystem. We have some great layer 2 games that are already in the game. This is a little different. It definitely feels different, the way this is an established game company, built game company coming into the game of Upland, and very much looking forward to seeing what happens here. And as we head into the end of the year, let's take a look at some more of these Layer 2 games, because we are still looking at the Layer 2 mini games, expansion of our Layer 2 mini games ecosystem, as the Layer 2 mini games development contest is still in place until the 14th of December. You have to apply or get that submitted. So get to work. It does take time. It does take time to get those integrations in. You have just under a month. Take your time, do it right, get it submitted, make it happen. Thank you, everyone, tonight for being part of the show, for being around. I'm going to jump in the cafe and see who's there and have that conversation there. But looking forward to any questions that people have. Feel free to send me a DM to the Goldsmith. When I do these interviews, I love to hear what people's thoughts are for these communities, for these individuals, because you can go and you can theoretically forward those questions to them. If you don't want to forward those questions, I can get those questions asked and hopefully get you some answers, the answers you want to hear. And when we do these interviews, I do try to reach out to people if they have questions they want to see answered, to get them answered, to ask the questions of the people who have the right answers, who can answer them better than anyone else, and then to have them answer in a live format so you can take a look and see in the future. So thank you, everyone, for being part of the show. Looking forward to doing this again. See you next Tuesday here in the Upland Cafe, Monday through Friday. Voice show in the Upland Cafe and Discord, 7 p.m. PT. I was going to go with the wrong time zone. 7 p.m. PT, Monday through Friday. Tuesday, 7 p.m. PT, right here in the San Francisco Cafe. Thank you again. Jumping into the cafe to have a conversation with those who are there. And, of course, looking forward very much to seeing what happens in the next 9 days for Polemo games.